Today we're diving into the current real estate market here in coastal Delaware. Let's go. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another edition of Living in Coastal Delaware. I'm Matt Lunden, your favorite coastal Delaware realtor, and today we're taking a look at some various factors to consider in today's market and just some things that you may need to know to best position yourself to create a real estate win. Before we dive in, we put out content each and every week discussing coastal Delaware and coastal Delaware real estate. So if you are interested in that type of content, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down below so you can stay in the loop each week when we put out new content. Now let's get to it. There is no denying that the market is changing. Certainly from where it was a year ago. If you have looked at any newspaper or nightly news show, they're happy to tell you about how it's changing, how the sky is falling. The truth is that the media uses fear and uncertainty to sell papers and get people watching their shows, right? Uncertainty is a scary thing, especially when you're embarking on one of the biggest purchases of your life. So that's why I want to give you guys the real nitty-gritty truth about what's going on in the market, what you can expect if you're looking to buy a home in this market, and ultimately how you can make sure that you are properly prepared so that you can be more certain when things are so uncertain. I know I covered a lot of this in a video just a few months ago, but as things are ever changing, I wanted to bring you guys some updated thoughts on it and just make sure that you are, properly prepared. Things are going to get intense, so let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are and where you see the market going. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree. Just let me know down below. Just so we can get it out of the way, I'm going to talk about probably the biggest topic first, but let's discuss the elephant in the room, which is the rising interest rates. Yes, it's true that interest rates have more than doubled since this time last year, but from projections that I've looked at, we expect them to continue to rise throughout the end of the year and into 2023. I know some of you have considered waiting on the sidelines so you can take advantage of prices falling. So I just want to run a few scenarios by you just to give you an idea of what that may look like should you decide to wait. The very first scenario is what we currently have going on. For conversation purposes, we're going to use a home that's $500,000. With current interest rates at around 7.5%, your principal and interest payment would be right around $3,750 per month. Now, for those of you waiting for prices to drop, depending on how far you think they will drop, let's take a look at two hypothetical situations and what those may look like. So the first hypothetical situation is if prices drop by 10% and interest rates go up by 1%. So now instead of a $500,000 home, we have a $450,000 home. Instead of 7.5%, we have 8.5% interest rate. So on a $450,000 home with an 8.5% interest rate, your principal and interest payment is going to be about $3,825. This is a $75 per month increase just in principal and interest. For those of you that are really looking for prices to take a steep drop off, if we look at what a 20% drop in prices but a 2% increase in rate will look like, which according to many experts, a 9 to 9.5% interest rate is not out of the question by year end. So if we take a look at a $400,000 home with a 9.5% interest rate, the principal and interest payment on that is going to be about $3,800 a month, or an increase from our current scenario of $50 per month. With all that being said, you can see that waiting may be more costly just depending on what your particular situation is. Obviously, every situation is different. So with all that being said, it is imperative to discuss with your lender what programs they may have, what's currently being offered. Is there anything that they're doing to help combat the increase in rates? I can tell you that many lenders are offering some form of program. If you don't have a lender you know, like, and trust, reach out to me. I'm happy to get you in contact with one. But many are offering, some programs for some temporary rate buy downs. You've got a lot of no lender fee refinancing. So say you get locked in now at that 7.5% rate, and then a year from now the interest rate drops to 5.5%. They'll refinance you into that for no lender fees. You will still have some other fees associated, but no lender fees on those. Again, there's permanent rate buy downs. but all these programs are designed to help you and to help relieve some of that pressure of rising rates, even if it's only for a year or two. In a temporary rate buy down situation, maybe it helps you out for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but just to help make that payment more affordable in a time when, we've got elevated interest rates and elevated prices. Now, as I just mentioned, elevated interest rates, elevated prices, we're in a tricky time. We currently have obviously high interest rates. We've got the highest prices that we have ever seen. It's made home affordability more difficult to achieve than probably ever before. But there are some underlying benefits to the current situation that I wanted to take a look at. For those of you that are looking to make a purchase and you're serious about making a purchase, whether that's, within the next, few months or, 6 months from now, there are some benefits there to you guys that are seriously looking and considering your options. And I understand that some of the articles you see online discuss prices falling and everything else, but here locally, the only prices that we've seen really coming down at all so far are those that have been priced too high to begin with. So I don't want you to, get too wrapped up in prices falling drastically, but let's take a look at some of the positives of, what currently is going on out there. For starters, some people have been priced out of the market. That's just the sad reality of it. They simply cannot afford the home that they want anymore. So they decided to go in a different direction. Maybe they are going to wait until they get the home, or they're going to hang out in the current home that they're in until things cool off, or maybe they're going to rent for a year, or they've got some other situation set up. But we've seen some people decide that it's just time to sit on the sidelines and wait. The reality is that these people are also likely the ones who are waiting for prices to drop further in 2020, which obviously we never saw. So these people were never really that serious, more than likely, to begin with. But with less buyers in the market, that means less competition for those of you that are serious buyers and that are looking to make a move. Ultimately, if there's less competition for buyers in the market because you've got less buyers in the market, it just means that you've got the ability to get more favorable terms on your purchase and include some things that maybe you weren't able to include before. Next, we have the fact that with less buyers in the market, homes are starting to sit a little bit longer. So you've got a little bit more inventory on the market. While we're still a little bit removed from it being a true buyer's market, we're working our way slowly towards a neutral market for the first time in a long time, which is great for those of you that are looking to buy. More inventory on the market also means more options to choose from for those that are seriously looking. So if you're considering a move and you're looking for homes, you're going to have a little bit more options. And as we discussed, with less competition, more choices typically means better terms. So these are going to be more favorable terms for the buyer. Currently, supply and demand is not really matched yet, but we're working towards that. And however, homes that are priced correctly and in good condition are still typically selling fast. And that's typically selling fast with more than one offer. So, if you're a serious buyer and you're looking for a home, yes, you likely do have more time to look and to get into some different options and some different homes. But if you find something and you feel it looks like it's too good to be true, you are likely not the only one thinking that way. More than likely, there are other buyers in the market that are thinking the same way. So it's going to likely still sell pretty quickly if it is a too good to be true option. It'll likely sell pretty quickly and more than one offer. But on average, you typically do have more time to look, especially when we look in consideration to earlier this year. So the final prediction I want to discuss is home values and appreciation. I know a lot of people are worried because they think that home values are going to come crashing down drastically. As we look, historically speaking, the average appreciation year over year has been about 4%, and that's for as long as they've been keeping records. That's been the average. Now, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that we've seen appreciation numbers of 5 to 10x that over the last 2 years or so. But as we look ahead at what the major institutions in the industry believe will happen, we can see that all but one of them thinks home prices will appreciate throughout 2023. And the one that thinks that home prices will depreciate, they're only calling for a 4% decrease. So those 10 and 20% drops that we discussed in our situations earlier are, not even in the realm of thinking for a lot of these folks. Then if we take a look at what those same industry leaders are saying for home appreciation over the next 3 to 4 years, we can see that they anticipate values to appreciate on a less than average rate for a few years before finally leveling off and finding the average again in 2026. So we're a little bit ways. We're definitely going to see less appreciation. Everyone's mostly still calling that we're going to have some form of appreciation. It will just be lower than average, and it'll feel like it's depreciation after the last 2 years of crazy appreciation. If you've made it this far in the video, you obviously like the content. So again, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button down below to continue seeing our content each and every week. And then if you or someone you know is looking to buy or sell real estate here in Delaware, I would love to work with you or them. So we've made it really easy to get in contact with me and my team. First, my contact information is right here on the screen and in the description. Feel free to call, email, text, whichever is easier for you, and someone will be in touch with you. Second, we have the option where we've got a link down below in the description that will take you to our website where you can fill out a form, and someone from my team will be in contact with you almost immediately. We hope to hear from you and look forward to working with you. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Peace.